Yeah, I mean, yeah, the CBA. I took some notes on that earlier. I mean, we're live now, so fuck it. Um,
17 games.
yeah. So the CBA is 17 games, but it's really still the same amount of actual games, but they're taking away one of the preseason games.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that for
In
some reason.
theory, I don't know the details.
That's pretty much it for
I
the.
don't think anybody really does.
Well, the regular season, 17 games, 3 preseason. The one of here's some of the things that is in the CBA. The player share goes from 47% to 48.5%. And that means like 5 billion, in the player pool.
Mm-hmm.
Game day roster will increase to 48 from 46. Padded practice decreases from 28 practices to 16, which is an off season. And reduced penalties for positive THC test. No more game suspensions is what that really means.
Yay!
And here's the key thing, which is going to play, it won't do anything for this year because even if they do agree on something tomorrow, which more likely they're not, it won't go into effect until next year anyways, until this time next year, because that's when this contract is up. So with that being said, tomorrow starts the franchise, the ability to franchise players. And right now they're allowed 2 franchise tags. Well, is it really called 2 franchise tags, or is it just 1 franchise tag and then a transition tag?
Yeah, it's 2 different ones because a team like the Titans can use both tags on 2 different players, and they mean 2 different things. Without the last year of the CBA, they don't have the 2 tags. They only have the 1 tag.
Yeah, it's hard to take you serious.
What do you mean?
Because you're not moving at all. Your face is frozen, but you're still talking perfectly fine. That's really
Look,
fucking.
I'm trying, man.
Dude, that's fucking creepy, dude. That's creepy.
I'm making all the best efforts I can to try to get in this thing. I don't know what else to do.
No, dude, no.
Because as soon as he started the broadcast, I had to shut my Wi-Fi down and go off tower. So all this is streaming Verizon data.
Oh, dude, if you need to take a break, take a break. I mean, I don't.
It's pretty shitty to take a break after we got started. But all this.
We're a bunch of professionals here, man. Come on.
Yeah, come on, man.
Don't question my work ethic. So yeah, as far as I can tell, you could use the 2 different tags. Each team gets 2 different tags, and the transition tag, someone else can make an offer, and you can match it, and then get like some kind of crazy compensation. It's basically like a non-exclusive franchise tag, and the dollar amount is less than the 2 different types of franchise tags. It's kind of like the 3rd place version of the franchise tag.
Oh, okay. Well, see, that's one thing they'll be getting rid of, because you're only going to be allowed 1 franchise tag per off season. Now, the players that are really against it, Russell Westbrook, he's tweeted about it, about how he doesn't want anything to do with. What did I say? Westbrook. My bad. Yeah, Russell Wilson. Yeah, no, completely no. Both play with balls, but that's about it. Rodgers. He's not for it because he wants more off time during the off season. That's his big thing.
Like off-time non-tackling time, or like just not doing anything?
I don't know. It didn't really go into detail from what I saw, but I mean, He voiced something last night. This is what today is Wednesday. So yeah, last night he voiced something about they don't get enough time in the off season to be off. I guess is what he's trying to say. I don't really know. But
that's not something I can speak to. I'm really unfamiliar with what it must be like to have, whatever schedule it is they work with. I'm not sure. This brings me to a whole nother issue. When we try and treat this like it is work, like it is a job, and it is not. It just simply is not. It is something else. There needs to be another set of rules. I'm not smart enough to come up with them, but applying our normal work standard rules to these gentlemen is silly at best.
No, I agree. And I completely agree, man. I mean, no one's really going to sit around and cry for these guys, and I listen to the people who are retired players all the time. They get there and they start talking, And they're like, yeah, I'm sitting here talking about a kid's game, for a living. And when I played it, I was playing a kid's game for a living. I think a good segment of them take it, for what it's worth. But that being said, I would have to say, from a player's perspective, it would be a little aggravating the way that they schedule this stuff. They have these 3-day mini camps in like April, and have 3-day mini camps at the end of May, and they have a couple of days in June. And some of them have contact, and some of them don't. And basically what it is like a way to just every 4 to 6 weeks get you in there and kind of prod you and poke around. I think it's all stupid. I mean, none of that really matters. You don't win any Super Bowls in April for OTAs or any of that stuff, and it just kind of seems pointless. So I think they should get if I was a player, I would want to probably bargain and get at least 2.5 free consecutive months off and just do what you're going to do. It makes more sense to me.
I have no problem with that. I have no issue with that at all.
I don't know. I don't know what that would lead to, because I don't know what kind of I don't know what the professional athlete if the professional athlete can have 2 or 3 months to himself without being guided. I'm not certain if they can.
That's the best part. No, man, it's like Bad Santa. They show up at Christmas to rob the malls, and then between there, dude's like coked out and drunk the whole time. And I fully would expect that like OBJ and all the like would go off and have fantastical adventures we'd hear all about, and that's what I want to see.
Well, that's fair enough.
I mean, it is happening now anyways. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm definitely not crying for them. Like Miles said, it's not a job. Don't get me wrong. They sacrifice a lot.
Yes.
It's not a job in the sense of a 9-to-5er. I'll give you that, but it's work.
It's work.
It's hardcore work. And dude, most of those guys' bodies are ruined.
Yeah.
Ruined. And see, that's to me is what is surprising. That I'm not saying that it's not in there, but to me, it seems like all these players would be talking more about the whole problem with not having lifetime insurance, health insurance, lifetime health insurance, because they don't have that.
Yeah, how does that work? It's like a couple years after they retire or something, it goes away.
I think 5 years. I think I heard now. I'm I'm talking out my ass, but for some reason I could have swore I was listening to something just the other day, and they were saying they got 5 years after they get out of the NFL with health insurance.
See, that's kind of a raw deal, because you imagine all the stuff they go through, and I mean, say a guy sticks around for 8, 9, 10 years. Darren Sproles just retired, which is a fun conversation I think we should get to. But Darren Sproles retired. He's been around for like 14 years as running back. Small guy, a lot of injuries. So he gets 5 years of health insurance, and then after that, he's going to be even worse off than he is now. Like, who's going to pick him up on an insurance plan? How affordable is that going to be? I'm sorry, your deductible is going to be like $50,000 or whatever.
I mean, that's
rough.
Yeah, dude. The whole problem with pre-existing conditions, you're fucked. You're fucked coming out of there, dude.
You are a pre-existing condition.
Exactly, dude. You are done.
Yeah. I don't think that just like in many instances in life where that's just not thought of to any degree of importance, because the people that really need it aren't playing.
Yeah.
It's sad. It sucks, man. But I just if I agree with you wholeheartedly, like they should put some forethought into that. Like, I would, if I was a player in the NFL, obviously the salary disparity is huge. There for each player, so it's hard to make a blanket statement. But it seems fair enough that if you're a player in the NFL, you could some sacrifice could be giving for right now gains to go towards healthcare long term. I mean, and I don't know that there is such a thing with the NFL Players Association and the NFL that is an agreement between them that exists, or it would all be a third party type of thing. You know what I'm saying? It's confusing, but I mean, at the same time, if you're going to look at it with the pay me now, I'm greedy, then fuck you. Prepare for when you're hurt by saving some of that money.
Like right now, they have for non-vested, I believe this is what it says. Yeah, no benefits for vested former players.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you get 5 years of medical, dental, prescription drug, work, life resources, EAP coverage, continuing veteran coverage. Dude, so in their improvement plan, their joint replacement program, they reimburse you. Guess how much they reimburse you? $5,200.
Yeah. What's that pay for the anesthesia?
Dude, what the fuck, man? See, that to me seems like that would be, that and the whole mental health issue. That to me is what should be being talked about more than all this, off time, which, maybe off time is necessary for their mental health. But yeah.
Well, I mean, you got the pay me now, screw it, I'm not thinking about it later attitude, and that's fine.
Yeah, you're right. But this isn't the NBA, though.
That's really the thing.
Don't hold the collective responsible if you're going to play that attitude. You've got to take yourself responsible if that's the attitude you're going to take.
But they're kids. They're fucking kids, man.
Most of them are, and they're young adults. And here's the thing, and you guys both individually kind of hit on it too. But I think it's more that the people who are bargaining these agreements are current players, and most of them are brand name players that make a lot of money. It's the haves and the have-nots, and the haves are speaking for everybody, which it's kind of like a societal thing these days. But you can, if you look at it like this, like all the retired players don't get a voice in this. All the people who have issues that are like at the back end of their career, or the low man on the roster, Mr. number 53. They don't really get a big enough voice. I mean, I think if you spread this out and give these guys some added juice, in the vote, some of the stuff's going to go away. But people aren't going to look into the future based on what they're making now. It's just not going to happen.
Well, say, were you aware of how the numbers how it passed?
No.
Last night the 32 reps voted on it last night, and it passed. Now it's going. Now it's continuing on to the players. It was a 17-14 in favor of. So I mean, that right there. I mean, that's not that big of a margin. And now it's getting moved to the players, and they're going to be the ones voting on it. In the next week or so.
Supposedly, does this require a majority of some kind? Just 50%?
I guess so. That's because it was 17 yay, 14 no, which. From watching ESPN and listening to all the sports stuff, you would have thought it was a much bigger margin.
Well, there's a lot of people who are kind of shills for the league right now. A lot of media types, like Adam Schefter, I think is the biggest one right now that's come out, and he's basically just being a megaphone for the league. I think it's obvious that ESPN has some rooted interest in the NFL getting this done. There are no work stoppages. They've invested a lot of money in TV deals, do Monday Night Football, on and on and on. The ESPN app, I mean, people aren't going to subscribe to it if there's no football in there. And I get that, but I mean, damn, he's not even trying to hide it. There's a lot of people not even trying to hide it, and they're basically just being mouthpieces for the billionaires. But when I look at this, and you guys can differ, I mean, there's a lot of different perspectives on the way the deal is set up. I think the 17 games is good. I think everything else is being well overplayed, and I think that the players buying into this deal are believing the hype. And I think the owners know this, which is why they're going so hard through online media to get this stuff out there. They understand that this is going to saturate players, subconscious more than whatever the union's saying, and they're going to vote, based on what they can see and what they hear day in and day out, not just what the union reps say.
Yep.
Well, I've dealt with the union since I was really young, working in these plants and stuff, and I've got an opinion on that, and I'm gonna keep that to my fucking self.
Probably best.
Yeah, definitely. Fucking definitely. Fucking bullshit. But I'm not really seeing what the percentage that is needed for it to pass. I'm not coming up with anything here. I imagine.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I have no idea. Nothing's popping up. It would have to, I'd have to go dig in. And what?
You know what came on PTI the other day? You watch that show sometimes?
I actually was watching a little bit of it today.
Kornheiser said Brady and the Titans. He mentioned that in the same breath.
Dude, it keeps getting talked about. You know who else has been talked about is Phillip Rivers for the Titans.
I haven't heard that on national.
I've heard he's going to the Colts.
Really?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
and then Teddy Bridgewater's going to the Chargers. That's what
that could be cool. I haven't heard that, but no, man, that sounds really good.
There's some buzz there about that.
Yeah, all I'm hearing around here is fucking Tom Brady and shit.
Yeah.
So I told y'all that's all I've been hearing ever since. It's been like 3 weeks now. Like the week of the Super Bowl. That's
Hey.
when all that shit started here.
If I'm hearing it on ESPN National like that, I'm starting to wonder what there's something to it. Then, for real, I mean,
Sure.
they're
Well,
leaving.
Tom Brady, anywhere he goes, they're going to sell out season tickets. I mean, you're not going to have a problem with that. Win or lose, they're going to have money rolling in.
What about Cam Newton?
Everybody forgets about Cam Newton. I forgot about Cam Newton until you just said something.
Yeah, that's a
Dude, he can
gamble
still
we're
play.
taking. That's a gamble we're taking in my mind in free
I think so,
agency.
too.
If you can get it for the right price.
I think so too. Absolutely.
Didn't Greg Olson just agree to a year in Seattle?
I don't
Yes.
know.
Yes,
Did
he did. He did.
1 year, $7 million. And I think that's a gamble worth taking. You think like Jimmy Graham, when they brought him up there, they thought, okay, this is what Russell Wilson really needed. But Jimmy Graham wasn't a complete player. And Olson's older. He's lost a step, but I think that he is more of a complete tight end. And he can really change that offense. I think that it's a perfect signing. They may get 2 years out of him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then Drew Brees is back, of course, and the Saints.
Of course.
Which I kind of have mixed emotions about that, man. I don't know. He looked better this year than, say, a Tom Brady does in his 40s last year. But, I mean, do you just really keep on jumping on that horse, or do you kind of move ahead and look forward? This is like 3 years in a row they've missed the playoff, or missed the, one and done, rather. I mean,
I kind of agree with you, and I think that you need to move on. It's better to leave a year early because quarterbacks over 40, when they fall off, it's a steep cliff. Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
Peyton Manning is kind of like the poster child for you hang around that 1 year too long. No one thought he would ever decline like that, and that last year was really bad. I think Brady's on the edge of that as well.
Yeah.
And Breeze didn't look like himself. And I don't know if you guys caught this. There's this huge movement like online for people saying Taysom Hill is going to be a franchise quarterback and the Saints need to sign him long term. Any thoughts on that? Because
I got
a bunch.
some. I got a couple too. First of all, the guy's almost 30 years old. I mean, and he's, if he hasn't done a quarterback gig by now, like a full-time one, is that something you jump into, a success at that age? I don't know. I mean, I think he's kind of branded himself to what he is, and I don't know that he can go away from that now. I feel that way. We'll see. I hope to be wrong. That's my thoughts.
Why do you want to be wrong?
Because I want success. I mean, I want anybody to do well, but I feel badly by, I don't want to talk down on anybody. I sit here in a chair. but I just don't see him being some franchise quarterback.
It's hard to see.
I mean, I feel the same way about a dude out in Arizona. What the hell
Kyler
is his
Murray?
name? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think he's a franchise quarterback.
I don't know, man.
I don't think he is.
You might be
No,
right. He hasn't
He
proved
reminds me of
himself.
Mariota a little bit.
He can move. But Mariota, he wasn't an NFL quarterback. He just played one.
Yeah.
No. I think, to be fair to Marcus a little bit, I think Marcus didn't have the continuity to grow that he needed. And I think there's a lot of quarterbacks that would need the same level of coaching that he was going to require coming out of college. And Kyler Murray kind of sticks me the same way. It's not Bruce Arians out there anymore. Oh, it's that Kingsbury guy.
Yeah, he's a college coach with what's his name? From the same place that Murray was. Right?
I mean, he had a decent rookie season, but man, I don't know. The jury's going to be out. It could really go either way.
The interviews that I saw with him and stuff, like, I don't know, he just rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know. It's just he didn't really want to take responsibility for his team. Like he had some bad play. Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, it was at the very beginning of the season. So I mean, it's his rookie season. He's a kid, but still, it's just, I don't know.
I understand what you mean. I mean, the whole. Hey, I don't like to see cockiness. I like this. You want to talk about a little bit of cockiness? Like this whole Joe Burrow thing. Have you guys been keeping up with that at all? It's been kind of up and down. I don't know if it's just all media hype or what, but there was a little bit of play around whether he thought he was going to go to the Bengals or not, and he may still not. He may be trying to pull like an Elway, Eli Manning kind of scenario here.
I know what you're talking about.
So
yeah, he's kind of not answering the questions directly and just kind of lead people down this rabbit hole.
Yeah, and I can't say I blame the guy. Some people say it's humility on his part that he's not going to come out and say that he knows he's the number one pick. Now, I don't know if I buy into that. If that's what if he's coming from just this humble position and saying,
Oh,
that
hell no.
yeah,
Hell
I
no.
think he knows good and
Hell
well
no.
that he's going to be first round. So, but
Clearly.
I mean, he's from Ohio.
No, not just
So-
first round. He's going to be first pick.
Right, first pick, right? Yeah, but he's from Ohio, so I mean, and you don't even have to be from Ohio to know how bad the Bengals are. You know, they've been bad for a very long time. I can't blame him.
I don't think. I think if anybody had leverage, I mean, you really think about it. If anybody had leverage as a guaranteed first overall pick to pull some Elway type stuff, it would be Joe Burrow. And I wouldn't blame him if he did. I mean, the Bengals don't ever finish the puzzle. They put a couple pieces around and they're okay with just being average. I mean, look how long they held on to Andy Dalton, who is what an average quarterback looks like if you paint him redheaded. But I mean, they haven't really made the effort. They keep guys around. They don't pay good players. But I mean, whatever. I think he should try to hold out and go to a different team because the Bengals would gladly take the picks and suck for another couple of years.
You know, right what you were just talking about right there, Mike. I had to keep reminding myself that. Yeah, well, no, that's what. No, God, no. That would fuck off. So, yeah.
Sorry, touchy subject. I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. I was thinking, I had to keep reminding myself that you're talking about Cincinnati because the way you were talking, it sounded like you were talking about Detroit and Matthew Stafford, which they came out and said that. No, they announced it today, or somebody announced it. I want to say it was Adam Schefter. No trade for Matthew Stafford. They are not trading Matthew Stafford. No, it was PTI. It was PTI. That's who said it. They're the ones that said that. The Lions have made a statement that they're not going to trade Matthew Stafford.
Is that a guy that you want to just stomp on the table for? 11, 12 years into his career, never really done. I mean, he's had a couple of okay seasons, but I mean, is that the guy you want to just go to bat for and say, "Oh, we're not trading this guy"?
No, that's because the only time he had good seasons is when Megatron was there.
Oh yeah, I mean that's all you do is just throw the ball in him 100 times.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, guys. I think that to get rid of him would be another really stupid thing on Detroit's behalf. Honestly, I'm sorry. Unless you could bring. See, I want to say unless you could bring in something better, but even still, man, Stafford's been all right. He's been all right up
He's
there.
been all right.
I would have been
Listen
happy
to
to have had him
Listen to yourself. He's been all right.
Listen, if you would have put him with somebody in another position anywhere else, man, if you would have been anywhere else, I think with somebody that in a better organization, maybe other than the Bengals or the Browns, but if he would have been in a halfway decent organization, man, come on. You got to give the guy credit. He throws 5,000 yards every season.
I absolutely agree with you, but didn't he come out at the same time as fucking who did he come out with?
Jeez.
It was the 09 draft.
No, yeah. I don't know, man. Was it 09? Was it that? Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah. Jeez, I can't think.
I know.
Was that Rodgers? Was Rodgers on there?
No, Rodgers was 05.
Okay.
I don't think anybody else really ever came out in 09 besides Stafford because, let's see, the Lions went winless in 08. And they got him in 09, and they got Sue in 2010. So I guess Megatron would have come. They drafted him like 7 or 8. I can't. And that's all getting fuzzy. But I was thinking that the 2008 season was their worst one. That's how they got the first overall pick and got him.
Makes sense.
Well,
but
what's the backup situation there? Do you know? Like,
it's fucking Detroit.
Matt Schaub.
It's like Drew Stanton or one of those guys that stick with a helmet.
No, but they so somebody talked to Ron Riviera today as he was coming out of somewhere, but anyways, and he's talking about not drafting Chase Young. He's talking, he's having a meeting with Burrow. Mm-hmm. He's also having a meeting with Teo. I'm not even going to attempt to the rest of his name. But so what do y'all think about that? Because I mean, dude, they just drafted Haskins last year.
Haskins sucks.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Haskins sucks.
Yes. Worst QB rating this all year for anybody that started over 5 games this past season.
He's another Josh Rosen situation waiting to happen. They're going to move on from him. If they can get somebody at 2 or 3 or get some picks and get another quarterback, they'll do it. And I would applaud that. You can't field around Dwayne Haskins. He was so bad last year, and I know they were a mess, but I mean, there is a lot of things that he should have been better at coming out of college, and he was not. He was just completely unprepared.
Mhm.
Just my opinion.
I appreciate the decisiveness if they do that kind of thing. You know what? Instead of just hanging on, my God, make a decision, and I can appreciate that for sure. But especially for Burrow, fuck. I mean, why not?
Well,
you got an opportunity.
Yeah, but I mean,
you got to think Dan Snyder would go to bat for that, and he would try to put everything on the table. The guy traded 3 first-round picks for what's his name? Was it Robert Griffin? Yeah, it was Robert Griffin.
Yeah.
I think Joe Burrow's worth like 4.
That'd be. I don't know, man. The Redskins.
Picks.
If it's not for lack of trying, I don't think the Redskins is it.
No, but to their credit, I think they've made some decent moves this offseason. They got rid of Josh Norman, which is a long time coming, and it seems like Trent Williams is going to come back. I mean, they could be sneaky good if they had a good draft this year in a weak division. And Rivera, I mean, hell, I think I said it a few months ago. He's the type of coach that could come in there and bring stability to the organization, not flashy. Yep. He's not going to be like a Nick Saban coming here and all of a sudden you're competing for national championships first day.
Mm-hmm.
But he's in Carolina. That's what he did. And every time he had a bad season, they talked about firing him. He'd come out the next year and they'd be doorstep of the Super Bowl and whatnot. So I would expect kind of the same from them the next couple of years. They look like they're headed that way. I
feel positive about the direction they're in too. I mean, you can't blame Ron Rivera. He's had success, I mean, not they didn't win a Super Bowl underneath him or anything, but
I mean, he's made the playoffs 3 or 4 times.
It's more than that, isn't it?
Was it?
Maybe not. I don't know.
I felt like the past few years that the Redskins are someone that just needs stability, like that maybe a Ron Rivera could bring, some kind of culture that was a little, not Bill Belichick per se, but something that had a little bit resemblance of like structure, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong with that, but yeah, I think I have a gut instinct that the Redskins might be okay. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, it's those guys and the Cowboys and all these teams, these super out in front type owners. Like Daniel Snyder, I guess, almost doesn't qualify, but he tries to overrun the team. He tries to meddle. Jimmy Haslam's another one. These guys, they only really answer to coaches that are veteran coaches. They're not. This is not their first time. They've got some pelts on the wall. So yeah, I completely agree with you. And it's the only shot that they really had to be successful, because if he doesn't work out, they're going to go grab somebody else from the dumpster bin and start over, do the same thing they did for the last decade or so. Let's go Gibbs.
What about Jameis Winston?
Oh man, not it.
I mean,
what's happening?
He's a free agent. He's going to be a free agent unless he gets a franchise tag.
Coach killer.
But that's really one of the players that they're talking about getting the franchise tags is Jameis Winston, Amari Cooper, Derrick Henry.
It makes sense with Jameis Winston, kind of, doesn't it? I mean, from a financial point of view, having him as a backup, maybe.
No.
Really?
No.
I don't know.
Nothing about that makes sense, especially in a backup role. Because I mean, you're making him one of the highest paid quarterbacks.
I see. That's the thing. I franchise. I didn't think. I mean, I knew it was is it a substantial amount of money for a short amount of time or something? How's it work again?
It's the average of the top 5. It's the average of the top 5 salaries in the NFL, and you get it for 1 year guaranteed. So the minute you sign it, it's guaranteed for injury or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the benefit of the player.
Yes,
but the benefit of it as the business is what?
Is that you're not, somebody else can't sign you
for a year
on his rights
for 1 year.
Yeah,
they are completely yours, no matter what.
Yep. But again, though, they also miss out on potential. The reason players don't like it is because they miss out on potential signing bonuses.
Okay.
And shit like that they're not going to get through other contracts.
Yeah, that doesn't make
money
sense.
In the security.
Guaranteed money, thank you. That's what I was trying to come up with.
I didn't realize the franchise was so high, to be honest with you. I didn't know.
I thought it was the top 3, but
well, it's
I thought
also
it was some mediocre stuff.
per position. So a kicker's franchise tag is going to be $4 or $5 million for 1 year, where a quarterback's obviously going to be the highest. And every once in a while you'll get these fights over who plays what position. Primary for like a tight end who catches a lot of passes, they try to say he's a wide receiver because that's a bigger tag, or a defensive end or a linebacker that plays defensive end when he's 20-year guys. So there's constantly squabbling basically because they won't do like a flat number across the board. It's based on position and the average of those position salaries.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks. No, it doesn't make sense then. If they don't get any value out of it, then no. Because, like you're right. I mean, if he was a backup, he'd go in and just throw interceptions, and that wouldn't be any good.
Yeah. And
So,
yep. And I really don't, for some reason, a lot of people are talking about Dak Prescott getting. He's not going to get franchised. They're going to work a deal out with him before that happens.
God, I can't believe they haven't yet.
I can. Dak's my spirit animal. Dak's playing this thing like he's playing the smartest business move, kind of like Russell Wilson did, a few years back to get his new deal done. I like what he's doing. He's basically sticking it at the Cowboys. He's saying, this is the number I want. I'm not taking less than that. If you don't like it, franchise me, and then you can franchise me the next 2 seasons. And he's playing this game where, he's going to go to Jerry Jones and say, all right, the next 3 years, if you franchise me, I'm going to make an average of this many million a year, like 44 million a year, which is crazy money, right? But in saying that, he's kind of daring them to franchise in 3 years in a row, because the opposite is like, well, if you're not going to franchise me, or if you're not going to sign me to a long-term deal, you have to franchise me, or you have to let me walk, and I'll get that much money on the open market. No quarterback of his caliber ever hits the open market, and if he did, he would get every penny that he's asking for. So I think that him not taking a hometown discount and not working a deal out ahead of time is really smart on his move. The only way it would backfire is if he got injured, because obviously you only get that 1 year and then, you lose out. You have an Alex Smith situation like that and don't play again, you've lost, tens of millions of dollars pretty quickly.
Sounds smart. I didn't know that much about it. Sounds like he's doing a really smart, but damn it, if injuries wouldn't scare the shit out of me. Oof.
Me too.
God.
Me too.
So this is some of the projections for franchise tags. Dak Prescott, which is bullshit. What the fuck is that? Ryan Tannehill. What do y'all think about Ryan Tannehill? All right, so here's my thing. He's 30 years old, in his 30s, whatever. He's towards the end of his career, and I say give him a 2. What is it, like a 3? You can't do 2-year contracts.
You can.
I think he needs a 2-year contract. I don't think
he'll take it.
Huh?
If he'll take it, I think it's smart for the Titans to do that.
I think that makes the most dude.
If they can't get Brady, I mean,
fuck off, dude.
No, I mean seriously. If you can get Tom Brady,
no, I disagree. I would still rather have Tannehill coming up over Brady.
I would too, personally.
Not because of the ability or anything per se, but dude, he makes the team better. Man, matter of fact, I want to say Mike was the one that was telling me this when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. It was because they had Nick Foles in, not because he was a better quarterback, but he made the team a better team. Mm-hmm. Unlike Carson Wentz, is that his name? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the guy keeps staying hurt. So yeah, good move on the fucking Eagles on that part.
Mr. Glass,
right? Yeah. But dude, and that's the way I feel about Tannehill. He gives him a different. I don't know. The team is just better with him on it. Now
he's got upside. I mean, he's not going to be the best quarterback. He had a really good streak.
No, he's not.
And he had some moments of indecision that cost, that hurt us in spots. We still were able to win the game. But I think he's a good fit for the team. I think he is not going to get a super long deal contract, from anybody based on the flood of quarterbacks in the market this year. I mean, you're going to bypass all the other guys that are coming free to give Ryan Tannehill a 4 or 5 year, $120 million contract. Probably not. So I think it's smart for him to, be a known commodity in a place where he had success last year. And I think he's also at an age where success is as important as the money, if not more so, because he'll be on his 3rd contract. I think the best business sense for Titans is 2, maybe a 3-year deal, enough guarantee money to make him want to sign it. But it's not going to kill you if you have to cut him after the 2nd year or something, and then you still have cap space this year to re-sign Derrick Henry, because otherwise, they're not going to be able to keep them both. I mean, if they have to franchise Tannehill, I think Henry's gone.
You would say that last part again?
I think if they have to franchise Ryan Tannehill to keep him, I think Derrick Henry's going to go because they'll have him over a barrel. I mean, you can't keep Henry on a transition tag because someone else is going to swoop in and take him, and you can't let him hit the open market because he won't come back.
And
That all makes sense to me.
What?
I said that all makes sense to me. I mean, I agree with that sentiment. Other than from a financial standpoint, it would make sense to get Tom Brady. It would fill seats. But
yeah, it would. It would be nice to have a lot of Titans fans in there versus 50-50, road team, home team.
mm-hmm.
I agree.
But I don't know. I say that, but I will not go so far as to say having Tom Brady would make them a better team. I mean,
and he's only a 1-year rental. So the downside is you've kind of mortgaged your future for 1 year, which may not be a bad play if you get a Super Bowl out of it. It's a smart move,
You definitely fill the seats, but I think it's pushing it to think you get a Super Bowl.
Face. He's doing the cat thing.
No, I'm just fucking dumbfounded that it's even a conversation of Brady coming here. It shouldn't be. There's no benefit. There's no benefit to the Titans having Brady come here. There's
I don't think
just
so.
not.
Other than the money in the pockets that the owners will get.
Yeah, but I mean, if you get Brady here, your season's over already before it even begun. I'm sorry.
Not necessarily. And the thing is, you only have to really convince one person in that front office that it's the best idea going. And I mean, a player his caliber, it's intoxicating. It's like getting Michael Jordan or Wayne Gretzky in his prime. I mean, it's one of these things that you put somebody in a position where it kind of puts that pressure on them. They pull the trigger. It wouldn't be the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, as from a coach,
I don't think it's going to be the best move for the team.
No, but from if you're a coach, and you're going, I mean, could you imagine last year if we had Tom Brady or they had Tom Brady last year with Ryan or with Henry running the ball the way he did last year? If he were to do that again next year and put Tom Brady back there with him, are you telling me? I don't know. That's fun to think about. It's fun to think about, and it's funny that I couldn't believe that I heard it on national television because I thought that sure maybe local radio would be talking about it, but
right.
I don't know. I don't think it's good for the team though. I want to stay that here on the record live. I get it.
mean, we all agree with that. It's not better for the team, and the thing about Tannehill is that he's a physical runner himself. Dude. Brady don't fucking. Now that that's not true. I've seen him run twice last year. He ran twice. Then he got up and did the dad pump and everything, and told all his youngins to let's go over there and beat these whippersnappers.
Psychologically, I might be more scared of Tom Brady than Ryan Tannehill if I'm playing defense. Am I going on a limb here?
No.
I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's crazy.
It's not crazy because Tom Brady can see the field, in my opinion, better than anybody that's playing right now. The only person that I thought was better at reading the field was Peyton Manning. And I think Tom Brady is right there behind him as far as his vision of the field. He sees shit.
Patrick Mahomes.
That motherfucker. God damn
He's up there with seeing stuff, man. Yeah, he might be the next one of those.
Yeah, dude, I'm sold on Patrick Mahomes. I'm definitely sold on him.
I am too, man. The more this stuff pops up, like on Twitter and Facebook, and you see like these little 2 or 3 minute videos that kind of recount certain points of the season last year and break it down, things that in real time you don't really appreciate. He doesn't get rattled. I mean, he sees everything. He's on a whole nother level.
Yeah,
I not just because I love football, but I think that quarterback is purely the most difficult position in sports, next to maybe major league pitcher. And you just don't see guys come along that can master at this level at any point in their career. And 3 years in, to be far and away the best pure quarterback I've ever seen. It's not a joke. It's not like a one game anomaly. Like, he is the best for sure.
Yeah. He's got to be the number one draft pick in everybody's fantasy draft.
I
don't
very
take a quarterback.
Quarterbacks
first.
don't get up there often. No.
Oh, really?
No, I usually take a quarterback in the third.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless it's I mean, I've taken. It depends. Like with Deshaun Watson after his rookie year, I take him up in I think the second round, but normally I take it in the third or fourth even.
But you got to
Wow.
read the room, man, because sometimes the difference between the fourth or fifth best quarterback and the ninth or 10th best is not that much. And
Mm-mm.
after everybody goes through and picks one, you can usually find somebody pretty good in the later rounds. The skill position guys are harder to get. But all this being equal, like I think Lamar Jackson could go first in a lot of fantasy drafts because he's a 1,000-yard rusher. And depending on
Yeah.
the way
Dual threat,
fantasy
yeah.
leagues are weighted.
Yeah,
Mahomes would be far behind,
PPR. I wish I played PPR, man. I play public leagues now, and none of them. They just have traditional scoring.
Adam taught me in the PPR leagues. They are the way to go. They are a lot of fun.
It's the only way to go, man. It's the best way to go.
It's more entertaining. It makes it more fun. I hate when you have a kick-ass game. You're like 12 points.
Yeah.
No,
it's-
no. It's completely true. There's so much more strategy involved because if you play the traditional way, where
Yes.
it's basically running back heavy, your
Yeah.
running back gets injured, you're screwed. Your season's over. You can't.
Yep.
I mean, there's no skill in that at all.
PPR eliminates the kicker, and I like that for the most part. It doesn't completely eliminate him, but my kicker is like, I mean, I averaged 15 points a game with my kicker last year. In a traditional scoring format, that is like a fifth of your points.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
if
mean,
you get a
that's
guy that scores
huge.
10 a week, that's a good player, and the kicker that
Yeah.
gets 15, you're going to win that game more likely.
And that's traditional format, and that sucks when my kicker is winning games for me instead of a skill position that is better and more exciting than a kicker.
Right.
Right. Wait, hang on. Let me make sure my wife's not listening. Fuck the kickers. She loves kickers. It's weird.
That's funny. So, all right. So the draft coming up in April.
Mhm.
Vegas, baby.
Have y'all got any ideas? Have y'all looked at any of the mock drafts or any of that kind of shit? I mean,
Not
they've
yet.
been talking about it like crazy.
No, not yet. I haven't looked at it at all. I mean, they'll go. Well, this is mock 1 of 1,000 between now and that time.
Exactly, and like none of them
That's
will
going to change a
be.
lot. They're just not going through the combine, right? So you'll have the one guy that kills everybody in the 40 and skyrockets up. The one guy that he's the workout warrior that jumps up, and a couple of guys that do drugs and they fail out. And,
Yeah.
it's always fun to watch. So you really don't know who's going to go until probably like the couple of days before. Then at that point, like Mel Kiper and those guys, they get it pretty close to right most of the time.
When it gets very close, yes.
Right. Yeah, they do these mock drafts like 5 months out. Like they're doing it because the networks are making them. They have no want to do it either, and that's why they're not even close.
Well, I mean, do you think Cincinnati's going to stay at number 1?
It's a great question.
I did until like Mike said something earlier. It reminded me how stupid the Bengals are. They could probably trade for this easily. I could
Keely
see them
Smith.
doing that.
Man, I don't know. Honestly, I mean, so Joe Burrow is going to go number 1. We pretty much agree on that, right? Like, no matter who's picking number 1.
Yeah, no matter who's picking number 1, Joe Burrow's the first pick of the draft. That's what
I think a better way to phrase a question that you asked may be like, okay, who is in a position to give up the most and would likely make the trade to try to get to number 1? I look at like the Redskins, or maybe. Hell, I don't know. It's really hard to just pinpoint a team that would want a quarterback that bad to move up because they're going to want multiple first rounders, probably 4 or 5 picks total, a couple players. It's going to be a huge bounty. But I think it's very possible someone can try to move up. If anything that's a sure thing like this, there's going to be people making phone calls.
I wonder what other team would move up.
Colts, are they any position to do that?
Yes, they are. Because they're in the middle of the first round, but they've got some extra picks. I mean, a couple years of kind of being average, you're going to run up with some extra stuff in the back. And I think, that makes a lot of sense. It makes more sense than them getting Rivers for a year.
Yeah, I would love to see the Colts go because when I first started watching football, like really started watching it, was when Peyton Manning came on and played for the Colts. There's a little place in my heart. I would like to see them do well again.
I hate the Colts.
Yeah, I know. They're AFC South. It sucks. What do you
Let me throw this at you. What if Tampa Bay did not bring back Winston and they traded up to get Joe Burrow because I think Bruce Arians is the type of guy that has to have a quarterback in place.
Oh.
And I've read a lot of his interviews this last season. I don't think he's a believer in Jameis Winston. I think he inherited him, and there's a difference. And he would make a move like this. That would be cool too.
You know what? What do you have to lose?
Joe Burrow, Mike Evans. Come on, that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. They got a receiving core in there, yeah. I mean, who else? They had a couple other people, didn't they? Or they lost them in the offseason. What was the other? Shit, I can't think. It's Evans' counterpart there. Not the tight end. They had a tight end that did well for a while too.
Had somebody really good this year too. I can't think.
Was it? Oh, it was. I'm thinking of the dude that went back to Philadelphia. Godwin to you, yeah, him too. But I'm thinking of Deshaun Jackson that went back to Philadelphia.
Right.
Yeah, he's not on Tampa. But Godwin, yeah, he had some good games.
Hell, I remember when Jackson went there from San Diego. I thought he was going to have a bust out year there, and he just went there and fizzled out.
Who, Vincent Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they get talented receivers there all the time. It's usually the guy throwing the ball. But man, if they, here's a fun fact: Tampa Bay has been around since 1976. They've never re-signed a quarterback they've drafted. They've never signed a quarterback to a second contract. And when I read this stat like a year ago or so, what is that?
Opening day at Adelphia Coliseum.
Oh, dude, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a picture.
Wait,
that's a good shot too.
Yeah, man, I'm a Titans fan too.
Love it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I felt bad about the Colts thing because they're AFC South, but I can't hate them. I just can't.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm Jacksonville. It sucks that they're all in the same fucking division.
Yeah,
it does sometimes.
Oh, you're still on the Jacksonville thing?
Of course. Yeah. Yes. I'm a glutton for punishment. So, but what about Detroit?
Yeah.
Joe Burrow would be a good place in Detroit.
Well,
you could flip Stafford in some picks and move up. I mean, somebody would get a quarterback in the deal. I don't know if they'd be willing to give that up. I don't know if Cincinnati would take. Well, I think Cincinnati would take Stafford. I think they would do it. If Stafford would take a little enough money, I think they would do it.
Yeah.
I mean, all right, so the top 10, it goes Bengals, Redskins, the Lions, the Giants, the Dolphins, which I'm surprised that their pick is, fifth. And then Chargers, Panthers, Arizona, Cardinals, Jacksonville, and then the Browns. Out of those 10 teams, man.
About 6 of them need quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of trades.
Actually, I think, no, dude. Only 3 of them have their quarterbacks. Jacksonville don't have a quarterback. They have Minshew, but they're still stuck with the Foles for at least the next 2 fucking years. They literally are stuck with him for the next 2 years. They cannot get out of that contract without taking a huge cap hit.
Based on
fuck them.
Based on what you were just running through, the list of people in the top 10, it kind of reminds me of 2011 when Newton was coming out and he was going to be first overall. Everybody knew it, but then after that, they took like Jake Locker and what's the guy that
Blake Griffin,
Blaine Gabbert, and the guy that went to Minnesota at number 12, Christian Ponder. All these guys that didn't belong in the top 10, 12, 15, they kind of just got moved up because they're starting this run on quarterbacks because, there were so many quarterback needy teams up there and there was a lot of shuffling around. It could be a lot of stuff like that, especially with so many quarterbacks getting interchanged on the market. You're going to have, if nothing else, you're going to have a situation where you have a lot of young quarterbacks starting this next year and a lot of really decent, veteran quarterbacks as backups. And it'll be a situation I can't remember ever seeing, where the backups in the league are all worth a starting spot.
So, if I'm not mistaken, St. Louis doesn't have a pick in this year's first round.
No, they're almost out of draft picks totally.
Yeah, dude. Jacksonville got their pick.
Who? Los Angeles?
Yeah. The Rams. Where did I say St. Louis? God damn it.
That's totally all right.
Off the game then, like.
All right.
But yeah, the Rams. Jacksonville has their pick.
Yeah. Well, they gave up everything last year to get a defense.
To get Ramsey.
Yeah.
That's what it was all about. Which I'm still pissed that Jacksonville did it.
I'm talking about with everybody though. They got what's the Clay Matthews? They got all kind of defense out there from just either people wanting to get the hell out of Dodge like Ramsey, or other people that are. I don't know what the Clay Matthews situation was. Was he just done with Green Bay, or was that ugly? I don't know.
It wasn't ugly. I think they just decided to move on because they wanted to get younger. And Matthews, really, he had a much better season last year. I think a lot of people thought he would have. But he's always been great in this edge linebacker type role. And Green Bay had moved him to middle linebacker for a few years, and it was kind of weird. And people don't value middle linebackers, so really they just looked at him like, well, he's gonna be too expensive for his age. He's just got to go. He played well for Los Angeles last year. I thought he was a really underrated player.
Is it his brother? No, it's Watt. Watt's brother plays for Baltimore, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got a couple
one of them.
brothers.
He's got one in Pittsburgh. Or no, that's Matthews. I don't know. Is there a Watt in Pittsburgh, or is it?
No, yeah, it's TJ is in Pittsburgh. You're right, and then the other one's in San Diego. I think he's a fullback.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the one in Pittsburgh.
Guys, I hate to rain on it, but I got to cut.
No, it's all good, dude. We've been going for almost an hour. This is the longest one we've done.
That's a lot of fun.
Hell yeah, dude. We'll touch base and we'll do it again sometime.
All right.
All right, later.
Good night.